Welcome into the Commanders Report. I'm your host, Jack Sperry. The Commanders have made yet another signing in NFL free agency, bringing in nose tackle Eddie Goldman on a one-year contract. We'll be breaking down the signing of Eddie Goldman, adding him to the Commanders' defensive line rotation here in just a second. But first, make sure you guys click that subscribe button, because even if it's an Eddie Goldman signing or whether it's a Laramie Tunsil trade, we are going to get you guys breaking news coverage for every single move Adam Peters, the Commanders GM, makes during NFL free agency this week. We got a bunch of great stuff on the channel. I put out my grades video for all the previous Commanders signings and trades so far this offseason yesterday. So make sure you check out that video if you want to see my take on every other Commanders move that has been made before this one. So let's start here with Eddie Goldman, who has formerly retired twice from the NFL. He played last year with the Atlanta Falcons. He is a run-stuffing nose tackle at 320 pounds. Did not play in 2023 and 2022. Former Bear, former Falcon. Last year had 16 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and 1 sack. So Goldman is the type of guy here, guys, where he's going to fill out the rotation. Honestly, he might not even make it to the season. Like it's actually a possibility that Goldman retires before the start of the 2025 campaign, and it's possible that if the Commanders draft an interior defensive lineman, that they beat him out for the job on the roster. So Goldman is definitely just a depth piece. Now he's 320 pounds. So if Daron Payne, the current nose tackle of this football team, goes down with injury, then Goldman is a 320-pound circle, essentially, that you just put right in the middle of the defense to take on double teams, to eat up space in the middle of the Commanders' run defense. When Daron Payne was not on the field last year for the Washington Commanders, this was the worst run defense in the National Football League. So I can understand why Dan Quinn, the head coach, and Adam Peters, the GM, wanted cheap, affordable nose tackle help and depth at this position. They didn't want to spend too much because they are already paying Daron Payne a lot of money. Now they're paying Javon Kinlaw quite a bit to be a part of this Commanders defensive line. But the fact that Goldman is here tells me that I think that this team just wants some experience in that room, and they want some depth, and they didn't want to pay too much for it. I would expect this contract, even though we do not know the full details of it, given that it's 1 year, I expect it to be extremely, extremely low, probably closer to the vet minimum. So let me know down there in the comments section, what is the one-word reaction to the Eddie Goldman signing? Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show, so YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time by answering today's pinned question with your one-word reaction. My one-word reaction here is big, all right? And, not big in the sense that it's a big signing, but he's a big person, all right? Like, he is a big nose tackle that is going to be able to come in if Daron Payne, God forbid, gets hurt, and you're not going to go from, a decent run defense to the league's worst run defense if Daron Payne comes out. Now, Goldman came back to the NFL last year. He played in all 17 games for the Atlanta Falcons as a rotational nose tackle, so I expect him to play the same role here with the Washington Commanders. But at his age and, all these different things, he's probably going to retire after just one more season with the Commanders here. I would expect the Commanders to potentially even draft a nose tackle in the middle to late rounds of the NFL draft here to potentially take over as a backup nose tackle. And maybe even Goldman doesn't even make it to the season on the Commanders roster. Now, before we break down the rest of the Commanders signings and kind of recap everything that has happened so far and continue to talk about Eddie Goldman, go ahead and check out our friends at Fanatics and help yourself out here by getting a nice Commanders t-shirt. If you plan on going to any Commanders games this year or going to any of the Commanders' practices during training camp this year, this would be a great t-shirt to wear. It'd also be great for just wearing it around the house, something to wear when you're watching TV or watching the Commanders on game days. You can go chatsports.com/Commanders shirt to pick up this Commanders t-shirt today. And also, guys, we get a part of the proceeds every time someone makes a purchase of one of these t-shirts. It's currently on sale with our friends at Fanatics. Go chatsports.com/Commanders shirt to help us and then also help yourself. Okay, now let's get into some of the moves that the Commanders have made so far. Again, guys, we have a full video breaking down each and every move in detail where I give my grades on all these moves. But now that we have another signing, let's kind of regroup here. Deebo Samuel, traded for him, trade a 5th-round pick to the 49ers to get Deebo Samuel and make him your new number 2 wide receiver, at least for now. And I think that he is somebody that is going to fit perfectly with the Washington Commanders moving forward in Cliff Kingsbury's offense. Zane Gonzalez is back. I think that the Commanders may think about bringing in another kicker to compete with Zane next year in training camp, someone with kind of maybe a bigger leg. Zane Gonzalez doesn't have the biggest leg in the world. He has struggled in the past from 50-plus yard field goal attempts, so maybe him. Then also John Bates, Tress Way, some lower-level signings there. John Bates is a good blocker. Tress Way, of course, is one of the best punters in the National Football League. Then Javon Kinlaw is their first outside signing. They re-signed Zach Ertz and Bobby Wagner in free agency before free agency began. And then Kinlaw was kind of their first big signing. $45 million, $30 million guaranteed for him to come in and assume a starting position as the starting 5 technique to start the 2025 campaign. Then they traded for Laramie Tunsil. They gave up quite a bit, 3rd round and 7th round picks this season, and then 2nd and 4th round picks next season, along with and then you get Tunsil plus a 4th round pick from the Houston Texans. So I like that deal quite a bit. Tunsil's a really good player, and this team needed a left tackle. Then they signed Will Harris to potentially be a starter for them. We'll see what they do in the NFL draft if they can get a really good safety. By the way, keep your eye on Nick Emanwari out of South Carolina. I think he might be a big-time draft target at number 29 for them now that Jeremy Chin has signed with the Las Vegas Raiders. Jeremy McNichols is back. Of course, they have B-Rob and Austin Eckler under contract. They have brought back Chris Rodriguez Jr. as well. And Jeremy McNichols is certainly somebody that's going to help them out. Marcus Mariota is also back on a 1-year, $8 million contract. Joey Peterson put out a video on him earlier today, and now Eddie Goldman. And now we are just getting word here, ladies and gentlemen, that Jonathan Jones, finally, a move has been made at corner by the Washington Commanders. I mean, I have said yesterday on the show, man, they got to make a move at corner. Well, here it is here, guys. Jonathan Jones, a really good veteran corner, is coming to the Washington Commanders on a 1-year deal. We do not know the full extent of the details in terms of the money, but Jonathan Jones is a very good, versatile corner that has been a very good player in this league for a long time. If you know anything about Bill Belichick-led defenses, they like to do a lot of cover 3, and they like to do a lot of cover 1. What do the Commanders like to do? A lot of cover 3 and a lot of cover 1. So I think that Jonathan Jones is a perfect fit for what the Washington Commanders want to do. And because it's a 1-year deal, I honestly don't think it's going to be for that much money. Jonathan Jones is somebody that I am really a big fan of, guys. He's been a really good grader in terms of the Pro Football Focus grading for a long time. He had a down year last year with the New England Patriots, but this move tells me that I think the Washington Commanders are planning to move Mike Sainristil back into the slot, the position that they drafted him to play. Of course, Mike Sainristil on the outside, played on the outside this past year, but now they get another outside corner here in Jonathan Jones to pair with Marshawn Lattimore. That tells me that they're probably going to move Mikey Sainristil back into the slot. You can take a look at the numbers that Jonathan Jones had in coverage last season. He gave up 7 touchdowns, all right, only 6 PBUs, and no interceptions, and he gave up a big quarterback rating. And I think probably the dip in production last year with the New England Patriots is probably why he's signing a 1-year deal, and it's probably going to be a very team-friendly deal. So I really think, guys, that this is a player that could be in for a bounce-back season here with the Washington Commanders, but I could also see this team potentially drafting a cornerback in the NFL draft this year to either play on the outside or maybe even play in the slot, depending on what their plan is for Mike Sainristil. But I think if they are planning on starting Jonathan Jones and making him a full-time starter for next season, Marshawn Lattimore is going to be your number 1 guy on the outside. Jonathan Jones would be your number 2 on the outside. And then you got Mikey Sainristil playing that nickel position, which is what he was drafted to be. And we have seen guys like Cooper DeJean, Brian Branch really take that position and really make it their own. Of course, Jalen Ramsey has also played the star position in both with LA and with the Miami Dolphins, and he has really been a big-time player in that position as well. So it's certainly interesting to see what the Commanders are doing at the cornerback position. Grade this signing down there in the comments section. Give me an A, a B, a C, a D, or an F. My initial reaction to this signing is I'm going to say it's a B. He did not have a very good season last year, which concerns me quite a bit, but he is a scheme fit. He has been a good player in the past, and I do think it leaves the door open for Adam Peters to sign and draft a really, really good cornerback prospect in this year's NFL draft. So very intriguing move here by the Washington Commanders. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. We greatly appreciate all of your guys' support. Again, make sure you click that subscribe button because every time there's breaking news action, even if they sign a player in the middle of a video like they did today, we are going to get you guys breaking news action. So this was kind of a unique video where we get to some breaking news towards the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for being patient with us. Make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Until next time, guys, hail to the Commanders.